So we finally come to the end, the horrific end. Edmund has given the orders that Lear and Cordelia should be killed, having been beaten by his brother, faceless Edgar. Edgar, who by the way killed Oswald for trying to kill his father, now comes and appears as a faceless hero to stand up and defeat Edmund. Edmund hears his story. I'll be doing those videos later, but I just want to get the thrust of this main line finished. Ed says he has some regrets, Edmund. Strangely, unlike Iago, unlike Aaron or other villains in Shakespeare's pantheon, he gives Edmund this strange note of regret, and he sends the order. And I think that's often cut, and I think rightfully so. I just think Shakespeare's overplaying his card now, the up and down, the up and oh wait, his letter will get there in time, they'll be fine. No, it doesn't, of course, because it's a tragedy. And now you're in the horror show of a man coming in carrying his young daughter in his hands. AO3 to a world that was very familiar with the iconography and visuals of Catholicism, Christianity, now wiped clean with the Reformation, an emphasis on text and not the visual field. This is a Pietà in reverse. This is the Pietà is classically Mother Mary holding crucified Jesus. And this echo has the potential of resonating with the audiences, just visually. Father carrying his child. And it just guts you, the ending. It's just brutal. And filled with despair. Yet, also, simultaneously, Lear thinks she's alive and moving. And under the game of theater, of course, the actress who would be playing Cordelia would be alive. Were you to put a feather on her mouth, it would move. Were you to put a mirror to her face, it would fog. There is some allusion here, I would argue, towards the mechanics of the theater. And there's something here about belief again. And Lear's hope, it could be his madness, but something that maybe it's going to be okay. But it's not. There is no saving us here. Howl, 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 howl. Never let it be said that Shakespeare needs to be decorative for no reason. That is a call of despair. You are men of stones. If I were you, if I had your tongues and your eyes, I'd use them to crack the heavens. I would break this world with screaming and crying. She's gone forever. I know when one's dead and one lives. She's dead as earth. And he has some tests. Get a mirror. If that her breath will mist or stain the stone, she's alive. Just could you? I know she's dead, but he calls for it. And I just paint these lines. Is this the promised end? Or an image of that horror? Is this more AO3 Christian, my Christian-soaked brain? Is this the apocalypse? Apocalypse. Oh, my spelling, sorry guys. Apocalypse, the ending, the end of the world. Is this an image of the end of the world? Is this the actual end of the world? Is this the promised end of the play? Is this what we were coming here for? Is this what's happening? Or is it just horrific? Just shut up, everybody. I love Albany. Oh, look. The feather, it moves. She's alive. Hope? Delusional? Stupid? in this ending, Kent's there and he says, "Oh, you're Kaya's." "No, I'm Kent." "Oh, I love you and you were here the whole time." Big deal. I mean, who cares about Kent's... I mean, poor Kent. He's going to die. He says he's going to follow his master soon. But it's not the main event, really. It's Lear dealing with the death of his daughter, screaming and thinking she's alive and fighting, and the audience just wanting to pull their guts out. I mean, for me, Shakespeare really can make some of the deaths drag out for a modern viewer, and I think the best ways to slim him down and to get to the raw center of the emotion of this scene. If it be so, it is a chance which does redeem all sorrows that ever I felt. So I think this is where Bradley gets this idea that Lear redeems. But does he? I mean, subsequent critics, everybody's pushing back on Bradley, and basically it's no. This is a ridiculous idea. I mean, she is dead. For sure. There is no redemption. And is all it would redeem what he's felt? He's so centered on his own emotions. I mean, not only, I don't want to flatten him out. He is carrying his dead daughter after all. I might have saved her. Now she's gone forever. Cordelia, stay a little. What's it you say? Is he hallucinating? Her voice was ever soft, gentle, low, an excellent thing in women. Notice the virtues of her voice versus her nothing and refusing to lie and participate. Lisa Jardine notes that Lear makes the wrong choice in choosing the verbose, wordy women, his daughters. He should have gone with the silent one, and in a way, in her death, her voice is redeemed. It's back within the fantasy of the obedient woman's voice. Low, quiet, always that way. I thought that was a very good reading and helped me make sense of those lines. He did have some vengeance, and that's supported. And he says, didn't I? I've seen the day with my good biting falchion, and I would have made them skip. I'm old now, and these same crosses spoil me. And here's a line that used to confuse me for so long, but it's so beautiful. Confuses, or rather on purpose. Cordelia is his fool. She made him laugh, she challenged him. They're the same in his mind. My poor fool is hanged. It's heartbreaking. No life. And here we get a really crazy thing, I think. This is AO3. I see a lot of echoes of the earlier plays, but that's... Romeo says this, How do these people get to be... How do these... Like an insect gets to be near Juliet, and I don't get to be... He's complaining about being exiled. Why should a dog, a horse, a rat have life, and thou no breath at all? Here this animal imagery comes home, but in a different way. Why do animals deserve life and you don't? Thou come no more, never, 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 never. Like the howls, like the nothing, there's just negation in this play. How is that anything but this hopeless devastation? Why are we at the theater watching this? What the hell am I supposed to take away? What were the original people thinking who thought it was going to all, like the Jacobean audience, expecting it all to work out? Why? What are they taking away from this ending? I'm fascinated by that concept. And I get it. I totally get why Tate or Bollywood or whoever would rewrite it. But if we go into the core of the nothingness, that heinous pain, well, that challenges me too. Why do we read or think about these things in this way? He wants to get undone again. Undo this button. Thank you, sir. And then he has a moment. Look, her lip. The feather, the movement, the breath, that's something. But again, it's her lips. You know, isn't he drawn to her physically? Isn't there an attraction there? Isn't there something confused in this man with his daughter and his love for her? That is just one interpretation. There are many, of course, and seeing it multiple speaks to the giganticness of this play. And the ending, its savageness. For me, it just guts me completely. Whether you sympathize with a man who realizes his mistakes, or you judge him as being the architect of his own demise, what you're left with is a world that is empty and bleeding. I think Jan Kott says this. And you know, it's not like Samuel Johnson's question about why does Cordelia live? I think a much more modern question, speaks to our time, is why would Cordelia want to continue to live in the world that Shakespeare leaves us with? One that's destructive and empty. Gloucester dead from a broken heart. Both sisters turning on each other. The world has come undone. And there's little hope in the final lines about potential of a future that can redeem the time, redeem the sorrow. What can make this okay? I don't see it. So there are many visions of justice or suffering in the play, but one way the play can be interpreted is providing no answers. That isn't the only way, incidentally, but there is at least one sense, one trajectory, one way of reading this where there is nothing at the end, except a society that's been completely pulled apart. And yeah, if you're Bradley or Aristotle, you say, okay, well, this is about Lear, a great man, making a big mistake, and then suffering as a way of suffering, realizing he made that mistake. But is that the tragedy? That's a quite digestible version of King Lear. Much harder would be, maybe, one where humans are horrific to one another, and that at their core is an anger or desperation.